NXT TakeOver 30 took place tonight from Full Sail University, the home of NXT. And this is, of course, where the first TakeOver ever took place. And you had a show that, actually, before I started to talk about the show, I have to talk about the set, which was exactly like WrestleMania 30. And I'm convinced they used the same X's as WrestleMania 30. If you remember, WrestleMania 30 had the 3 big X's, and you had the WrestleMania sign. Of course, that's in the Superdome, not the Silverdome. Hogan. You had that show, and you had 3 big X's. I think they used the exact same because they keep everything in production, like, or in a warehouse. I forget where it's stored. I don't remember the exact location of it, but they have a warehouse where they keep everything. I'm pretty sure those were the same 3 X's that we saw at WrestleMania 30. And this was not as good as WrestleMania 30, but it was a pretty damn good show. I also want to mention, they actually did it, after the show, they did Untold on Bayley and Sasha Banks, and I thought I should mention that because they were annoying on this show. They were in the crowd. They showed them, and you can hear Bayley, I swear, like 3 or 4 times you can hear Bayley cheering. They were annoying, but I like them. Hey, I can't get mad at them. But I swear I must have heard Bayley's cheers like so much. You had the show on the pre-show. You had, I may as well talk about this. It wasn't really an eventful match. You had Breezango, Fandango, and Tyler Breeze win a triple threat tag match on contenders against Only Lorcan and Danny Burch and Legado del Fantasma. This was alright. Didn't pay much attention to it. Show starts off. You had a good video package, I thought. It's the 30th year in NXT history. They talk about some of the historic moments in NXT. That first TakeOver show they showed, the Charlotte and Talia match. Memorable show. Start off with Finn Balor and Timothy Thatcher. And the match they had here, I thought it was good. It was all right. I thought they were going to go really good. And I thought, they're going to have an MMA type match. I'd like to see that. And this is the crowd that will cheer for anything because it's a controlled crowd. So I thought, hey, this can work. And they started off really having an MMA type match. And they used some holds. I thought, this is going to be interesting. Then it just progressed into a wrestling match. And it just turned out to be a solid opener. Not a great match. A good wrestling match. Not a great match. He had Finn Balor injuring his leg. And that was the whole story of the match. And he breaks the hold he had on Timothy Thatcher. And went on for about 13 minutes. It was a solid opener. Didn't necessarily set the world on fire, but I thought it was a good way to start the show. Finn with his bad leg hits the coup de grace. Of course, he doesn't get all of it, but then he is able to get a 1916 DDT, and he pins Timothy Thatcher, and Balor gets the win. I picked Balor to win. I thought they could go with Thatcher, but they gave Finn Balor a win. Next, we go to the NXT North American title defended in a ladder match. You had Bronson Reed against Cameron Grimes, against Damian Priest, against Johnny Gargano, against the Velveteen Dream. I think people are really surprised he's on TV right now. I thought this was a good matchup here. I didn't think this was great. I thought this was a good ladder match, but I've seen so many ladder matches that blow this thing in the water in WWE recently. I mean, 2 years ago, the North American title was defended in a ladder match in NXT TakeOver New Orleans, and that match blew this match out of the water. This doesn't hold a candle to that. That was a classic match. This was a very good. I thought this was a solid ladder match. It would have been really good. It could have even been great. But man, you had so much botches at the end. That is really bad. I had to mention that because it was so bad. There was like 3 to 4 botches in a row. Thinking, those were cringe botches. But it was still a good matchup. So everyone gets their entrance. You had he had a big splash into the ladders, and he had Bronson Reed do a wrecking ball, and everyone was set up in a corner with like 2 ladders there, so everyone gets crushed by the ladder. Looked pretty cool. Then immediately you got a good Tower of Doom spot. You had a superplex, German suplex, and then a power bomb. It was really, really cool. It was a great Tower of Doom spot. Loved those. And you had a series of dives by all 5 guys, including Bronson Reed doing a suicide dive. You had Velveteen Dream do a dive to the outside. You had ladders get thrown out. Some cool spots here. I thought it was pretty fun. You basically have like 3 big. I don't call Cameron Grimes too big, but Bronson and Damian are bigger guys. So they did some spots here. Gargano was really the guy who I thought would be the start of the match, and he did good. Probably my favorite part was Damian Priest, where they had him run up the ladder. It was basically a ladder set up on the rope, so similar to what Shelton Benjamin did at WrestleMania 21, but he did it ran out off the ladder out to the outside onto it and did a dive. That was pretty cool. Then you had Candice LeRae interfere, and she basically beats up. She embarrasses Cameron Grimes. She kicks Cameron Grimes' ass. She got too much offense, and she even does a Hurricane Rana onto Cameron Grimes off the apron. He lands on two guys on the outside. I liked Candice, but I thought she got too much offense here. But the cool spot when they get rid of Candice is they have Johnny Gargano down. They have Bronson Reed climbs to the top of the ladder, and he's going to do a big splash, but Candice jumps on his back, and then with Candice LeRae, he does a giant splash off the top of the ladder onto Gargano, crushes Gargano, and basically Candice gets crushed on impact. So that gets Candice out of the match, but doesn't get Johnny. It looked like it was going to kill Johnny, but he does survive. Later, you had a horribly botched sunset flip. I hated that. I think it was Velveteen Dream doing it to, was it Cameron Grimes? I'm pretty sure. And Cameron Grimes, or one of them. It was so bad. It was Velveteen Dream's spot because the ladder was set up very poorly. It was a horribly set up ladder, and then his like shoulder and the side of his head crashed into the ladder. It looked so fucking bad. Oh, that was a really bad botch, in my opinion. And then you had Velveteen Dream, and I think he's doing, what does he call that finisher? His finisher, it's kind of like that fireman roll. I forget it. Purple Haze? I don't even know what it's called. But he has, I think it's Gargano, and he does it, and he was supposed to go onto the ladder, I think it was Bronson Reed on the ladder, but the ladder doesn't break. The ladder it didn't crack, and I think they were supposed to. And I think there was going to be a choke slam from Priest to Bronson onto a ladder on an apron. A ladder on the turnbuckle that didn't break either, so he had a lot of botches. But it got picked up when he had Velveteen Dream nearly die. He was on top of a ladder. He gets tossed off, and he falls out of sight. He falls out of the ring, off the rope, like through the ropes, off the barricade, and there's basically two tables, and he goes through a table. The camera messed it up, but it did look cool. Eventually, Gargano gets to the top, but Damian Priest gets there. He throws him and Gargano off a tug-of-war. Gargano gets thrown off. Damian Priest wins. Damian Priest, your NXT North American Champion. Next, you went to Adam Cole against Pat McAfee. And I have to say, this was a shock how good it was. I was blown away. Cole comes out first, and then McAfee comes out. They sometimes do that with celebrities. They always get to introduce them second. So when McAfee comes out, he gets a decent... he's with his guys. And I thought he cut a promo before the match. Actually, I think it was pretty good. So it started off good. It started off with McAfee showing off. And then the big spot was McAfee does like a swanton bomb onto everyone. What happens was the Undisputed Era comes out after McAfee and the three football players he's with get involved in the match. Undisputed Era comes out angry. They start yelling at each other, and the referees are there, and everyone's there. And then Pat McAfee, as they're doing it, he climbs to the top rope. He does a swanton bomb and takes out everyone. That was an awesome spot. After that, McAfee dominated the match. He got a lot of offense on Adam Cole. Adam Cole selling a lot for McAfee. McAfee takes control. I think to myself, this is going too long. They're really going to have McAfee do this. It wasn't very good at that. Then it turned into a great match. It blew me away. So Cole makes a comeback. We knew he would. He gets some offense into Pat McAfee, and then he is going off, and then they set up a cool spot on the top turnbuckle where McAfee does like a backwards moonsault, but he does a moonsault off the top right apron. It's like a backflip actually, and he lands on his feet. And then as he lands on his feet after the backflip, he jumps to the top rope, does an amazing superplex to Adam Cole. Oh my God, it's over. 1-2, Cole kicks out. That was an amazing spot. I love the superplex spot. Then Pat McAfee goes to kill Adam Cole with a punt. He hits the steps, and Adam Cole gets him in the figure four. It looks like, okay, this is it. McAfee's going to tap. McAfee is able to turn Cole on his stomach to reverse the pressure, but Cole gets it back. McAfee gets to the ropes, which was a shock. That was cool. This was a lot of fun. Eventually, McAfee hits a punt, but they did sell it where his foot was hurting. He hits a punt, and Adam Cole kicks out of the punt, which was a great spot. I thought that was over. 1-2, Cole kicks out right before the 3. That was definitely one of the crazier, closer falls of the night. And then Adam Cole makes a comeback. After McAfee went to the top, he gets hit with a super kick. Cole gets angry. He goes to finish McAfee with a Panama Sunrise to McAfee. 1, 2, 3. Adam Cole pins Pat McAfee. He wins. This was awesome. This was, at the time, the best match of the night. I loved it. It was great. It was fun. I think this could have got even better in front of a real crowd. I really enjoyed it. I thought McAfee was amazing. So nothing but credit to him. I think later, I don't know if this was before, but he had Mackenzie Mitchell see Damian Priest, and he was celebrating his North American title with 2 chicks in the jacuzzi outside, or a hot tub. And then the co-main event, the NXT Women's Championship. Io Shirai defends her title against Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai accompanied with Raquel Gonzalez. This was a good matchup. I think in terms of a women's match, it was one of the more lower profile NXT women's title matches in a while. Io's great, but I don't think Dakota's a big. So I was thinking to myself, does Dakota really belong in a co-main event of NXT TakeOver? Probably not. But I enjoyed the match overall. This was good. Io hits a 619 early, and during this, I didn't think, okay, Dakota's knocking him, but there was a couple spots later when she had her chance. He had a really great armbar spot with Dakota Kai and Io Shirai. Dakota has Io, she's pushing pressure on it. Io's trying to survive. Eventually, Io Shirai gets to the bottom rope, and it took her a while. It looked like, oh, they're going to have her tap, but Io Shirai survives it. That was a great spot. And then Io Shirai gets a crossface onto Dakota Kai, but Dakota Kai survives, and that was another good reverse of a submission. That was good. And the referee goes down. Io Shirai accidentally kicks the referee in the head. And then once that happens, they had Raquel Gonzalez attack Io Shirai, hits her with her chokeslam, and I was thinking to myself, holy shit, it's over. We're going to get a new champ. After she takes her out, you had Dakota get on top of her. The ref comes in. It's over. 1-2, right at the last second. Io Shirai kicks out, and then Io makes her come back. She throws Dakota to the outside, hits a moonsault from the top, taking out Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez on the outside with a great-looking moonsault. Best moonsault ever. I loved Io Shirai's moonsault. Throws Dakota in the ring. Second moonsault. It's actually the third moonsault she hit in the match because she hit one when the ref was down. But did the third moonsault to Dakota Kai. 1, 2, 3. Io Shirai still the champ. After the match, Raquel Gonzalez interferes, but then Rhea Ripley makes the save, and it sets up Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez. So that's how that ended. Good performance by Io Shirai. I thought Dakota Kai did good, and I thought that was a solid women's match. Really enjoyed it. Main events. I love the Metallica song. Frantic, tick-tock, frantic, tick-tock, frantic, tick-tock, frantic, tick-tock, frantic, tick-tock. All right, bad singing. Scarlett comes out with Karrion Kross, and I can't believe how hot Scarlett Bordeaux is. I just call her Scarlett. I know they call her Scarlett here, but I have to call her Scarlett Bordeaux because that's a hot-sounding name. She's a smoke show still. She's dressed up as Catwoman with the nails and just, oh my god, with the outfit. Holy fuck. She looked exactly like Michelle Pfeiffer. Michelle Pfeiffer is insanely hot, and she looks like Michelle Pfeiffer. She's a hot blonde, has a similar body type, that kind of a skinny, beautiful body, and she looks exactly like Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns. She'd be great. She should be the new Catwoman. She was awesome here. I loved Scarlett. So Karrion, they have a great entrance with the fire, so awesome. Keith Lee comes out, and the match I thought was slow at first. I thought, this is all right. I think Keith Lee hits a shoulder. Karrion Kross works over the shoulder for a while, and it started off a bit slow for me. Match progresses, it gets tougher. And this was like one of those matches where it's a tough big man match. 2 big guys. You never see this in NXT where you have 2 big men fighting each other, beating each other up. We usually, in main events in NXT, Adam Cole, we had him for a while, Gargano, Ciampa. They're all great wrestlers, but, they're smaller guys. Here we really got to see 2 big guys really beat the shit out of each other. This was a tough barn burner of a match. JR would have been great to call this kind of match. It was a tough physical matchup here. I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was a very good matchup. So Keith Lee and Karrion Kross gets exciting near the end when Karrion Kross finally gets Keith Lee in the straitjacket. It goes on forever. And it looked like, oh, it's over. Keith Lee's out. New champ. It was a straitjacket forever. The ref pulls Keith Lee's arm up. It's over. Keith Lee's not moving, but he puts it up, and Keith Lee makes it come back. His arm gets back up. That's when they got really exciting. Keith Lee makes an incredible comeback. Scarlett's freaking out. Keith Lee hits the spirit bomb. 1, 2, 3. It's over. 1, 2. Karrion Kross just rolls out, and it's hit. That's kind of a kick on Keith Lee's shot. Keith Lee sets him up to the top rope. Karrion Kross fights back and hits the back suplex. Hit one back suplex earlier, Karrion Kross, but the second back suplex was from the middle rope onto the floor, onto the ring. And I thought they were going to crash in through the ring and the match would be over, but it wasn't. He crashes down in the ring. Ring doesn't break. 1, 2, 3. Karrion Kross pins Keith Lee. Karrion Kross is a new champ. He celebrates with Scarlett, looking great. She looked great. He's the new champ as Fire